they're all going to get tens and tens of thousands of dollars. But I'm good for it. But let me ask everybody else. Is that economic development? I've taken money from the outside and I put it on the inside here. Is that economic development? No, it's not economic development. And the reason it's not economic development is because it is not a long-term infusion of wealth into the economy. And in order to have economic development, it's got to be long-term. What's long-term, you're asking yourself? Well, some of you are going to think this presentation is getting to be a little long-term. But it's not judged in the measurement of time at all. It's judged in the measurement of sustainability. And for small businesses, it's how long can you keep your doors open? And economic development is about the idea of providing services and opportunities to the people in its community. And that's what you want to do. Because the services, you talk about, good schools, good roads, good parks, good neighbors. I mean, all of those are the reasons why you're in this community to begin with. I mean, you love that part of it. Good opportunities, training opportunities from all the colleges, trying to increase the skills. Those are the opportunities that you want to take advantage of. And the other opportunities deals with the idea of job opportunities. And when you talk about jobs, there's a couple of ways that you want to look at your community to see if you can create jobs. And the first one is to have a very diverse community. I'm not going to spend much time on this because Walla Walla is a very diverse community. But there are a lot of communities that just are a one-shop town, a one-business town, or a one-industry town. And if a natural disaster takes place, if a recession takes place and they have to lay off a bunch of people, a lot of those people have nowhere else to go. And as a result, what's going to happen? All those services and all the amenities are the reason why they live in this community. They're going to dry up. You're not going to be able to deliver the same quality service, and they're going to move to another community. The other thing about the job opportunities that you want to talk about is the idea of cluster. And Steve mentioned that there's, a cluster grant taking place for this community now. We want to try and have a cluster economy. And for those of you who don't know what a cluster is interconnected businesses with linkages. And in other words, a great cluster is the wine industry that you have here. You have vineyards, but you don't just have vineyards. You also have farm equipment. You have trade associations. You have probably small retailers that deal with labels and bottles and corks, and you have local fair events that are winemaking all the time. I mean, those are the idea. That's the whole idea behind a cluster. So you want to make sure that you have a cluster economy as well, in order to continue to create jobs so that they don't dry up. As I mentioned before, I've never seen a bigger transformation in this community, and especially it's because you've made it diverse. You haven't made it you haven't made it just an onions and prisons town, and also because of the fact that you recognize what a cluster is and how to bring in businesses and how to create more jobs from that. So kudos to Walla Walla for the work that they've done in doing that. Okay. You know what? Let's pretend this box of fudge is economic. And I'm going to take Mike has a box of fudge, lives in this community. Can you say that this community has economic development now? How many people remember the syllogism method of reasoning that we learned? Some of you, if you're like me, don't even remember going to college. But essentially, the syllogism method of reasoning essentially states that if there's one statement of fact that's true, followed by another statement of fact that's true, then the third one has to be true. So, in other words, Mike has economic development, lives in this community. Annie lives in this community. Therefore, Annie has economic development. Is that true? No. Who's got the fudge? Mike. Is he sharing it? No. Jerk. Mike is. He's keeping it all to himself. If you want to see if you have economic development in your community, take a look and see where the money is. Take a look and see who has it. People in the community benefiting from the economic benefits. Is most of the money going outside your community? If it is, if you have more money going outside your community than you have going inside your community, it's called leakage. And any time a doctor, a plumber, an economic developer uses the word leakage, not a good thing at all. So, how do you prevent leakage? How do you stop economic leakage from happening in your community? Well, one way to do it is, by the way, has anybody seen the latest ad campaign? Bob has a campaign right now. And essentially it's all about Washington. And essentially what they're saying is that 95 out of every 100 French fries that you make were grown in Washington. And 500 milk were purchased from the 500 dairy farmers. 1 million pounds of apples were picked in the Yakima Valley. Incredible campaign. Kind of makes you want to eat at McDonald's a little bit more, doesn't it?